So let me ask you something. Is it possible to escape the cluttered, ad-filled world of your smart TV for less than the price of a couple of movie tickets? Well, we're about to find out. We're going to dive into an experiment that tries to do exactly that.
You know the screen I'm talking about, right? You turn on your expensive smart TV and bam, it's a total battle for your attention. It's just crammed with ads and sponsored content for shows you don't care about. It honestly feels less like your TV and more like a giant billboard in your own living room. So, what's the alternative?
Well, it really boils down to this: a choice between a walled garden and an open playground. On one side, you've got the big brands like Amazon. They lock you into their ecosystem and they're constantly pushing their own content on you. But on the other side, there's the promise of an open playground, a device where you and only you get to decide what you see on your home screen. To see if this open playground is actually a real option, we're going to look at a fascinating experiment by YouTuber Boki. He did what a lot of us are curious about. He went on AliExpress, found one of the cheapest, most popular Android TV boxes he could, and decided to see if it could actually go toe-to-toe with the big names. And here it is, our little contender, the M98. Look, for just 28 euros, the specs on paper look surprisingly not terrible. It's running a pretty recent version of Android, it's got 4 gigs of RAM, which is about what you'd find in a budget smartphone, and tons of storage. But the real test is how this thing actually performs in the real world. Right, and here's the reality check. As Boki puts it, c'est du hardware qui ne date pas de 2025, which basically means this is not exactly cutting-edge hardware. The processor's old, the Ethernet port is kind of slow, so while the numbers on the box look okay, we probably shouldn't be expecting a performance beast. But then, the moment he plugged it in and it booted up, the first big surprise. The home screen was just clean. It was simple, minimal, and completely empty of any ads or forced recommendations. It was honestly a breath of fresh air.
And that's really the whole point, isn't it? Unlike a Fire TV stick that immediately shoves Amazon Prime down your throat, this little generic box has no agenda. It just gives you a blank slate waiting for you to tell it what to do.
This is the dream right here. Total, absolute control. Boki found he could uninstall anything he wanted, even the pre-installed apps. He could add his own stuff, like Plex, right to the main screen, and then arrange everything exactly how he liked it. That's a level of freedom you just don't get with the mainstream players. Okay, a clean interface is great. Love it. But the million-dollar question, or I guess the 28 euro question, is how does this cheap hardware actually perform? Can it play your movies without turning into a stuttering mess? Time to put it to the test. And you know what? The results were pretty impressive for the price. Your standard 1080p high-def movie? Absolutely flawless playback. What about a regular 4K HDR file, the kind you stream from Netflix? Handled it really well. The only time it started to sweat was when he threw a massive 50-gigabyte 4K Remux file at it. That's a super high-quality file that, let's be honest, can make even more expensive devices choke a little. And I've got to say it again, this level of performance, which is perfectly fine for like 90% of what most of us watch every day, is coming from a device that costs just 28 euros. That value is just kind of crazy. So, what's the final verdict on the experiment? I'd say it's a huge success. For simple, customizable, ad-free streaming on your main TV, or especially on a secondary TV in the bedroom or something, this kind of budget box is a fantastic and really satisfying solution. All right, so the cheap box is surprisingly capable, but that gets you thinking. How does it stack up against the more expensive options out there? Let's zoom out for a second and take a look at the entire spectrum of streaming devices. You can pretty much break the market down into 3 tiers. You've got your budget boxes, like the one we just looked at, which are perfect for tinkerers who just want that clean, ad-free experience. Then there's the mainstream, like a Fire TV Cube, which is built for people deep in a smart home ecosystem. And way at the top, you have the premium tier, like the NVIDIA Shield Pro, for people who want all the power. So what are you actually paying for as you climb that ladder? It's not just about slightly better streaming. When you get to the mainstream devices, you're paying for that polished ecosystem and a powerful voice assistant like Alexa. And when you jump to premium, you're paying for a ridiculously fast processor that's great for high-end gaming and some really advanced video tricks. Here's a perfect example of one of those premium tricks. The NVIDIA Shield Pro has this powerful chip that uses AI to take a regular 1080p video and, in real time, intelligently sharpens it to make it look way closer to true 4K. It's a really noticeable upgrade that budget hardware just can't pull off. So, after looking at everything from a tiny 28 € box to a 200 € powerhouse, how in the world do you choose? Well, it all just comes down to what you care about the most.
Let's just break it all down. A budget box gives you that awesome ad-free freedom, but you gotta be aware, there's basically no support. Mainstream devices give you the convenience of a voice assistant and smart home controls, and you spring for a premium box if you're a serious gamer or a movie buff who needs the absolute best picture and sound. At the end of the day, there is no single best choice for everyone.
And that really leaves us with one final question to chew on. When you crash on the couch at the end of the day, what do you really want from your TV? Do you want the polished, curated convenience that the big brands offer you? Or do you want the absolute total control to build your own perfect ad-free world? The choice, as they say, is yours.